Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host, Josh Sias. And I just wanted to wish everyone a very happy holiday weekend. It's the 4th of July over here in the States. And if you're not from the US, I just want to wish everyone a very happy, nice weekend. Now, jumping right into the events of the weekend, we had tremendous prospects fight this weekend. And when I mean tremendous, if 135 pounds needed any more talent, we found it. 130 pounds, also showing out this weekend. At 130, you had prime time, official prime time, Chris Colbert take on Nayambar. And sorry if I butchered that last name, but that's who Chris Colbert fought. And now in this fight, we had Nayambar, who was a last minute replacement. He replaced Yuriokis Gamboa, who seems to kind of capitulated his position at 135 and realizes that he shouldn't be at that weight. He is particularly really small for 135 pounds. And it's quite crazy that he fought Terrence Crawford. When you think about it, hindsight 2020, Terrence Crawford is a gigantic fighter at 147. And even at 140, he was very tall. And 135 is just, I can't even believe he campaigned at that weight at one point. But Yuriokis Gamboa was supposed to be the opponent, and last minute pulled out due to injury, and Nayambar stepped up. Now, the only thing to note is, and I'm not trying to take away from Chris Colbert, because you fight whoever's in front of you, and if your opponent pulls out the week of whoever you're going to fight, it's just kind of who you're going to fight. You want to fight, you want the payday, you have to fight. And Nayambar was the one that stepped up to the plate. Nayambar had been in there with Gary Russell Jr., and he's a pretty formidable opponent who comes to bring the noise and throws a lot of punches. Now, immediately you saw that. Chris Colbert showed and displayed his fantastic array of combinations. I love the fact that Chris Colbert can throw punches from both sides. He's a switch hitter, southpaw, and orthodox. I like the fact that he's defensively aware from time to time. And Nayambar was the perfect style to kind of show and push Chris Colbert to perform for everyone. And that's what we saw. Chris Colbert put on a spectacular performance. Was it a performance where he didn't get touched up a little bit? No, he got hit from time to time, got caught being a little greedy with his combos. He would land 2 or 3 punches and then be like, hey, let me get that fourth and fifth to try to stop Nayambar. But Nayambar showed he is a formidable opponent who's been in there with world-class competition. Gary Russell Jr., you guys know, 126 pounds, in my opinion, the best at 126. He showed that he could hang with Gary Russell. Didn't win the fight, but it was competitive. And in this fight, while I gave Nayambar maybe 1 or 2 rounds in the fight, I think Chris Colbert showed that he is the goods. He's the WBA interim champion, whatever that means. And I'm going to actually do a video talking about every belt step or every level for each organization. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but I do want to release that to give some clarity for people out there that don't know how the belts work. When you're interim champion, you are supposed to be the next in line in order to fight for a title, and you're holding that spot. You're basically like the number one contender, but I'll go and delve into that. Now, Chris Colbert, I'm excited about the young, talented Colbert. He's from New York. I've actually seen him fight before in the amateurs, and I kind of saw him come up. But I gotta say, Chris Colbert, very solid contender. I don't know how he is yet against the better guys, and in this fight, you saw him get touched up a little bit. And I don't want to take away from his performance because he did fight someone on last minute notice, and he didn't study Nayambar the way he was preparing for Yuriokis Gamboa. I feel Gamboa probably would have given Colbert a little more of a challenge, in my opinion. And it's not so much the fact that I think Gamboa would have won, but fighting someone like Gamboa with such ring generalship and ring IQ, it is an experience for any young fighter. And Chris Colbert, I love the flash, I love the switching, but Gamboa is a good boxer. I know people think he's washed up, and you know what? Is he at the end of his days? Yes. Has he struggled at 135 and fighting the bigger guys like Devin Haney? You saw how he struggled against Gervonta Davis, but he had his pockets. Gamboa is a good boxer. He has a very good IQ. And you're talking about someone who was a medalist in the Olympics from Cuba. So he has talent. And I think it would have been a little more beneficial for Colbert to have fought Gamboa to get that true experience. I don't know if maybe they want to fight him again. I don't know how Gamboa keeps getting shots at this level to be on national television, PBC. You guys are really doing well by Gamboa to keep giving him opportunities to fight. And I guess it goes both ways. They get the experience that Gamboa brings, and you also get to showcase your up and coming prospects against people that have name notoriety. Say what you want, but a lot of people know Gamboa. They've heard the name before. He's fought Crawford. He's fought a bunch of people like Devin Haney. He's fought Javante Davis. And when you want to fight people in that division, a lot of people like to compare opponents. So Gamboa and Colbert would have been a fantastic fight, but that's not what we got. Not what we got. We got Nyambar and Colbert did exactly what Colbert does. He was flashy, won the fight in spectacular fashion. I wish he would have got the knockout since, I mean, at 126 pounds, Nyambar moved up. He did have power. He has a pretty decent knockout ratio, but moving up, Colbert probably could have finished him, but Nyambar was landing some shots. So maybe he had power that he didn't feel comfortable with trying to finish him, and he did what he had to do to win the fight. Now, believe it or not, I'm not trying to shit on Chris Colbert's parade. Colbert, fantastic fighter. But 135. You know I love my 135 division, and honestly, we keep finding more and more diamonds in the rough. Sure, Masayoshi Nakatani fell short against the creme de la creme, and clearly there's another level in terms of 135. You know you have the top of the top at 135, but don't be surprised if that top 5 of 135 or that top 10 of 135 gets shaken up, because there is a low-key monster coming. And what I mean by that is Michel Ali Rivera. What a prospect, honestly. Yes, I know in this fight against John Fernandez, he did struggle. It was a barn burner of a fight, right? Oh, this guy is like immediately what happens when someone fights someone that no one knows, they're going to say, oh, he's a cab driver or Uber driver or someone that no one knows. But Michel Rivera fought someone who was pretty formidable. And if you don't know, I looked back and did some research and looked back at some of his fights. John Fernandez was a killer. This wasn't a fight that Michel Rivera was supposed to walk through. John Fernandez, if you know, is 21-1 when he fought Michel Rivera, but had 18 knockouts. Now, that's a crazy knockout ratio. A lot of people don't know John Fernandez because he's promoted by the great Maravilla, Sergio Martinez, and he's fought primarily, mostly in Spain. So, of course, you're not going to know who he is. But if you look back at his record, he's been in there with some pretty solid competition. And I'm not going to lie to you, John Fernandez brought it, and you saw in the fight. Michel Rivera started off strong. They were exchanging punches, and John Fernandez arguably won 2 of the first 3 rounds, according to the unofficial scorecard. And then he did the impossible. Michel Rivera kind of came on. He was landing some shots, got a little greedy, fell asleep, and Fernandez showed why he has 18 knockouts. He showed why his knockout ratio is tremendous. He ended up dropping Michel Rivera. And I know when it comes to a showcase fight, you're like, oh, you have to look good. You're fighting somebody that no one knows. Oh, you got knocked down. Yes. But what I saw was a fighter that actually adjusted. You saw that when he felt like, damn, I got to slow down a little bit and set up my shots. I just can't walk through this guy's power shots and knock him out. I have to actually box, use my skills, and then I'll set up the knockout. And that's exactly what happened. He was patient. He started defending well. He started not being reckless, not trying to get this guy out there with one shot. He started putting his combinations together. And sure enough, little by little, the power showed. And he ends up knocking out John Fernandez in spectacular fashion. And when I tell you spectacular fashion, one punch power, guy was, in my opinion, asleep with his eyes open. Right? He was paralyzed. He couldn't really do anything, and the fight was over. And Michel Rivera is the real deal. Now, the reason why I'm really excited about Michel Rivera is with this win, he just cracked the top 8 of the WBA. And if you look at some of the other divisions, he's creeping up into that top 10. Now, how crazy is 135? You got Teofimo Lopez at number 1. You got Vasily Lomachenko at a solid number 2. You got Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, whatever order you want to put them in. Then you got Isaac Cruz, another beast, right? Then you got Masayoshi Nakatani, who just lost. So I'm going to kind of lose a little stock on that because when he stepped up to the best of the best, you saw the difference. Then you got George Gambosos, Javier Fortuna. You got Jojo Diaz, who's fighting Fortuna, right? This division just keeps getting better and better. And now with Michel Rivera, add another person, Lee Selby. You got Jorge Linares. Even truthfully, Rolando Romero, who's campaigning at 135 pounds as well. So Barenchik, who else? Who else? Who else? It just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And truthfully, I don't know who's going to end up on top right now. I do got Teofimo. That's my guy. But after Lomachenko looks so good, they're going to have a rematch. You got Tank Davis, who just came off of that win versus Mario Barrios. So a lot of people are high on him. Ryan Garcia just got back in the gym and is practicing again and seems to be a little more focused and seems to be doing well. Devin Haney just beat Jorge Linares in fantastic fashion. So 135 again adds another killer. And honestly, it's good to see that PBC and Showtime are showcasing top level down the road talent because let's be honest, 135, I don't think PBC really has anybody except Gervonta Davis at this point. And don't be wrong, that's a great problem to have, just Gervonta Davis. But it's good to see them showcasing some of the other depth that they got. They got Fortuna. They have some good, not top level talent in my opinion for 135. The 135 pound division is owned, in my opinion, by Top Rank because you got Tio and you got Loma. So arguably you can say whatever you want, but let's be honest, Tio and Loma is better than anybody at 135 clearly right now. So as much as I hate to say it, who knows when we're going to get these fights, and I'm actually doing a video about that soon. So I'm just happy we're seeing good fights going on. It's good to see 9 versus 10 and just see the pool just get deeper and deeper. So those are my thoughts for the fights this weekend, and I will be releasing some more episodes for today. Hit like, subscribe. We're almost at 150 subscribers. I would love to hit that mark, and I'm very, very happy about the progress we've made. If you're not following on Instagram, at Good Boxing Podcast, and have a great day.